Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel. This is your Highland girl with her stories. So pull up a chair, pull up a chair. Um, Thank you for liking, sharing, and subscribing. Thank you for following me. Thank you for even spending your 2 cents in the comment section. And thank you for just being my fan, fans, friends, family. Thank you for being my FFF. And you can add all the F's you want to it. My favorite fans, friends, family, go on. But anyways, um, pull up a chair. And just let me do a free talk with you today about uh, they said kids say the darndest things, right? And there's a saying, I'm not quite sure if it's in the Bible, where it said, once a man, twice a child. That is still the truth. So, kids don't care what they say because they're speaking their minds. And if we do the same thing, most of the time, I would say, half of the time, would have been in trouble, or people with that thing were too cocky, or people wouldn't like you. And so we get to the part where we are using useful delusion, right? And that there's a book. I'm not promoting it or anything, but I'm just saying there's a book. But we're using useful delusion. When I said useful delusion, is that all the time, if we should say what's on our mind, as I said, people wouldn't like us. But when it gets to children, some of the preteens, they will say whatever on their mind just the same. But when they get to the elderly, they have been there, they have done that, and they got the t-shirt. They don't care. So they just said whatever on their mind. And sometimes if you listen to them, you will learn something, because sometimes they say something and you're like, dang, I could use that. And another time they said stuff where you walking away scratching your head like, woo, I didn't just walk into that. Like one of them called me the other day, hey, come here. And I forgot that this woman was not all the way upstairs, dementia, psychosis, whatever was going on. And she called me, so, I genuinely walk over to see what was on her mind and what she has to say to me. And you would not believe it. She said, I walk over her and I said, how may I help you? How may I assist you? And she said, come here. And I walk up and I said, I go down to her level, because she was sitting in a chair. And I said, what is wrong? What do you need? And she said, they're looking for Chump. Can you help me find him? And I stood up and I go, I walk right into that one. I walk right into that one. And when I was walking away from her, she said, are you going to help me? And I said, right now, I am on it. I'm going to see where he is. And then she said, thank you. You are a darling. So, useful delusion. You have to pretend like you are with them all the time. And if you're not careful, that's the other thing that you can get into trouble with. Because if you're not careful, you can use that useful delusion until you become delusion. So, but there is a cross in it where you're like, wait, you don't cross certain path. And then I was looking the other day, I stood up and I was looking at one of them asking me a question that if I gave her the right answer, that my brain have to give to her. She would have been mad and we couldn't calm her down. So no, I was like, working with these people, you're a delusion. Because no, to fit their world, you're telling them a lie. To fit their world. And I'm like, wow. So am I becoming a liar? Or am I is so far in delusion? And someone heard me say it too. She said, wait, you talking to yourself? And I was like, yeah. Because working with these people, you're either delusional or you're a liar. And she said, why you said that? And she said, I said to her, well, she asked me to go look for her husband and tell the husband that the baby need milk. Now she's walking around with a dog, and that's the baby. And I need to go look for her husband to let them know that the baby need milk. Now, who is delusional, me or her? Because now I have to tell her, okay, I'll be right back. I'll go see what he says. And she was like, and he better agree that I need money. I need money. And then you walk off and hoping that when she sees you the next time, she don't ask you anything about what she sent you to go do. So I walk up into another one and it's lunchtime. Okay, all right, it's time for you to sit and have lunch. And he says, I can't pay for all this food. I don't have money. So how am I gonna go sit in the people's restaurant to pay? And then useful delusion come in, which I don't think it wasn't a lie. And I said, you know what? This is already charged to your credit card when you make the reservations last month. And he said, did I do that? And I said, yeah. It's already charged to your credit card, so you may as well just go eat it. It's already paid for. And he said, oh, well, okay, if it's true, then I don't have to worry about anything. And I said, you sure don't have to worry. And I'm going down the line. And another one said, you know what happened to me this morning? And I was like, no, I don't. Because I find time to talk with them. I find time to answer them. When other people will say, just go about your business. No, not me. Not me. I am there to help them and work with them and help them in the best way possible. And I'm not going to pass them because I know the elevator is not all the way to the top. No. So she said, I woke up this morning and I realized, she said she woke up this morning and she realized that she was poor. And I said, why you said that? And she said, I looked everywhere in the house and there is no food. And she's crying tears. And she said, there's no food. What is she going to do? She said, when did she become this mess that she has absolutely nothing? And here I am again. You don't ever have to worry about anything. Just sit right here and let me go and bring you food. The breakfast was being served. So I brought her tray and she blessed me and God blessed me and everything blessed me and I'm the best person ever. Because they don't remember psychosis, schizophrenic, and don't let me go into that schizophrenic. That's another story all by itself. And I had to sit and watch. It was when I think it was earlier last year, about July, I believe it was. June, last year, June. I sat down and I watched a lady went into her moods, and I sat there, and there's nothing I can do besides I just sat there and I just watch it. And she sat in a chair, and I watch her. She cried and she sweat, like perspiration just flowing off this woman. And the only thing I remember I could do for her was call the nurse and told the nurse that she was getting into one of those zones, and I think it's time for her medication, because there's a certain time when the medicine is wearing off that she goes into that zone. So there's the only thing I could do was to let the nurse know what was going on. But she sat there, and when she got out of it, she looked at me, she said, whoo, whoo, that was horrible. Oh my God, I don't want to go back there. I don't want to go back there. Luckily you are here, that you could help me, because I couldn't get out there by myself. I couldn't get out of it by myself. And I'm looking at all these things that is happening, and then I realize dementia, schizophrenic, psychosis, it's a demon. It's a demon. And we don't talk about it. We just give it a name and give it medicine. So when they come up to you and they tell you what's on their mind, it's what's on their mind. What's on their mind. And you dare not tell them that's what they're seeing. It's not that. It feels like the subject totally all come to where I change the whole thing, as kids and old people say the darndest thing. But these are part of the brains that don't knit up anymore. For the young children, they speak their mind. And then once a man, twice a child. So when they get back to that, the child stage is when everything plays out. And you can tell what type of life these people lived, whether it was a good one or a bad one. It will plays out right there too. And I have the experience of one person for days would tell me all manner of evil. And it get to you because when someone is calling you out of your name and you have to take care of that person, it's not nice. And you have to pray through it. And you pray through it and like, okay, there's nothing I can do. If you tell this person to stop it, it's not going to stop. So just ignore it and so forth. And then you go again and you go back and you're daring to this, like, okay, you ever know you're going to see somebody and you dread seeing that person, but there's nothing you can do, but you just dread. It's almost like when you got in trouble and you dread going home because mom is going to kill you. So the day I was like, okay, all right, I'm muscled up to go deal with this woman because I have to. And I walked in the room and she said, hey, you are a very genuine person, and you are really a good person. You're genuine. And then she says, thank you for all you do for me and all that you're doing for me. She said, I appreciate you. And she blew me a kiss. And I grab it and I tuck it in my pocket, and she bust out laughing. And she said, I've never seen that before. And I gave her 10 seconds after that, and the demon kicked in. And you know what I was thankful for? I was thankful that when I walked in, I see the real her or the other side of her. I don't know, but I know I was thankful for the good side that I saw. So when she started doing the rest, I didn't care, because God allowed me to see the side of her that I wish to see every day. So God allowed her to talk to me for that time. Yeah, and she called me friend. The next day was totally different. So when you hear someone saying, I've been there, I've done that, I've got the t-shirt, what can you tell me that will makes me mad? That I walk away from you, who I know the elevator is not all the way to the top. What can you tell me? I learned to sing. Give me a heart of thine. There's a song, and it calls, give me a heart of thine. So when I go to work in the morning, I will sing that song all day. Give me a heart of thine. Because if you don't have a good heart, when the negative side of people is playing out, you can become even worse than them. Because it's like a baby that don't know what they're doing, and you are an adult who have controlled over the situation, and if you make it worse, you're worse than them, right? So anyways, thank you for listening, thank you for liking, thank you for pulling up your chair. And for the caretakers out there, the nurse, the doctors, you're in the medical field, the caregiving, all of that, and all of that. Just remember that we are taking care of people who we are going to become one of these days. So pay it forward, I want to say. Pay it forward. And remember, children and the elderly say the darnest thing. Walk good. You hear?